The speed at which technology is developing means that new devices quickly become obsolete after they have reached their intended market. Many of the functions of these earlier devices can now be performed by modern technologies, such as computers and mobile phones, but in smaller, more portable forms. We're going on a nostalgic trip down memory lane to look at some of the greatest and most enduring technological marvels that have been rendered obsolete, antiquated, or simply rendered irrelevant by more advanced, contemporary technologies. Many people in the younger generation may not recall many of these, despite the fact that you probably do. Let's get started. But do subscribe to our channel before we start. Number 10. Public telephone booths. The recognizable phone booth is essentially a monument to the history of the telephone and is now only used as a tourist destination or a place to shelter from the elements. Number 9. Rotary telephones and wired landlines. Another piece of technology that is on the verge of being obsolete after being replaced by a computer that we always have with us. The wired telephone was invented in 1844, and since then, it has undergone numerous modifications. Rotary phones have long been obsolete, save maybe as a novelty. Due to the ease of purchase, increased personalization, and low cost of current cell phones, wired landlines are rapidly falling behind. Number 8. Dumb phones. In the era of smartphones, these traditional mobile phones really just allowed you to make calls, send text messages, and maybe, if you were lucky, play a sneaky bit of Snake. They are now utterly out of date and essentially useless. They were highly helpful in their day and could happily operate for days without a charge, which is something we greatly miss. They were the forerunner to the current mobile. Number 7. Pagers and beepers. Although pagers were first created and manufactured in the 1950s, it wasn't until the 1980s that they really began to gain popularity. Emergency services, medical professionals, and safety employees who needed to be reachable at all times, even when not near a landline telephone, frequently employed these one-way communication devices. In the early 2000s, the popularity of smartphones caused the use of pagers and beepers to decline, but because of their longevity, resilience, and superior coverage, they were still in use for several more years. For instance, Canada continued to pay up to $18.5 million for its pager service in 2013. Number 6. Personal Digital Assistant, PDA. The Personal Digital Assistant, PDA, the forerunner of the current mobile phone, provided limited access to many of the contemporary features we've come to expect, such as internet access, word processing, touchscreen functionality, and more. Prior to the rise of cell phones, they were a solid favorite among businessmen all over the world, but they quickly fell out of favor. Number 5. Laserdisc. One of those specialized technological formats was the Laserdisc, which was mostly favored by movie buffs and videophiles. Despite being the first optical video storage format and being available as of 1978, Laserdisc was unable to become widely used due to the high cost of the players. The technology behind Laserdisc, which provided video of a greater quality than VHS and Betamax, later served as the basis for compact disc, DVD, and Blu-ray. Even though it never gained widespread acceptance, the last video releases in this format didn't happen until 2001, when 16.8 million Laserdisc devices were sold globally. Number 4. Digital Versatile Disc, DVD. The digital video format, created by industry heavyweights Panasonic, Philips, Sony, and Toshiba, evolved into DVD. It was used as a medium for high-quality video, software, and computer information due to its large storage capacity. In comparison to earlier magnetic storage technologies, DVD offered various advantages, including more storage space and a theoretically long disk lifespan of up to 100 years. DVD is probably reaching the end of its useful life given the advent of better internet speeds, video streaming technology, and even superior formats like Blu-ray, even 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, on the market. Similar to the legendary Laserdisc, other DVD formats, like the 1080p capable Blu-ray rival HD DVD, never really truly took off. Number 3. Floppy disks. Data storage devices known as floppy disks first became popular in the 1970s. The first was an 8-inch floppy disk with a data storage capacity of only 80 kilobytes. The storage capacity of floppy disks increased as they got smaller. By the middle of the 1980s, the 3.5-inch floppy disk could store a respectable 1.44 megabytes. Unfortunately, floppy disks were easily ruined by heat and magnets. The majority of applications required multiple disks to function by the 1990s due to the complexity of the software. Adobe Photoshop required over a dozen CDs, and CD-ROMs started to replace them. Most software programs now just retain the floppy disk as a save icon. Number 2. Fax machines. In essence, the inexpensive fax machine was a modern-day telegram. It allowed people and businesses to send scanned documents from one phone number to another for a very long time. The satisfaction of receiving a printed copy of the document from their device would be experienced by the recipient. All of this was accomplished by sending audio frequency tones, which were understood at the other end. Number 1. Compact cassette tape. Compact cassette tapes were the audio equivalent of VHS and Betamax cassettes. Compact cassettes, which were first released in 1968, made audio accessible to the general public at an inexpensive price using the same magnetic tape technology. They might be used as blank tapes for recording, with a boombox or dictaphone, for example, or as cassettes with music albums already recorded on them. Early home computers used cassettes as a storage media since they could also be used to store other types of data. What do you think about these old technologies which cannot improve and no longer used? Do let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe to our channel to watch more of us.